think that I could get some?
Chicky, chicky,
Maybe get a little finger.
sticky, sticky.
You my electric ukulele bone flavor. I got to do you till the next song says ya. And can I get a little zip, zip?
Looky, looky,
Maybe just a little
looky, looky.
Hey, what you say? It doesn't matter anyway. You won't do another cause you getting with me. You got the power of the hoochie. I got the fever for the flavor of the Gucci. And can I mention? Hey, pay attention. Gonna take that booty to the nudie dimension. I got the green glow under my car. I got the boom, boom system you can hit real far. Oh, hey, oh, pretty, pretty shy. Whoa, whoa, oh, hey, hey. Oh, pretty, pretty fly. Whoa, whoa. What do I have to say to get inside, girl? What do I have to say? Whoa, 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 whoa. Can I get a little yum yum?
Kitty, kitty,
Just a little something something.
itty bitty.
Do you wanna get triple X groovy? Give me some of that kind of movie. And then I spin you like a racket.
Wicky, wicky,
Let me get your butt naked.
licky, licky.
Here we go, yo, here's the scenario. Gonna strip you down like a car in the barrio. You got the power of the hoochie. I got the fever for the flavor of the Gucci. I'm your lovey-dovey bedtime player. Call me the super sexy boogeyman slayer. I got the green glow under my car. I got the boom boom system you can hear real far. Oh, hey, hey, oh, pretty, pretty shy. Whoa, 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 hey, hey, oh, pretty, pretty fly. Whoa, whoa. What do I have to say to get inside, girl? What do I have to say? I got the fever for the flavor of a Gucci. Yo, Emma, mama, hoochie. I got the fever for the flavor of a Gucci. Yo, Emma, mama, hoochie. Whoa, 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 go! Do you think that I could get some?
Chicky, chicky,
Maybe get a little finger.
sticky, sticky.
You wanna suck it like a thong hit, whack it. You gotta be my first lady, jack it. She got the power of the hoochie. I got the fever for the flavor of the Gucci. Let's party hardy and rock and roll. We drink Bacardi and smoke a bowl. I got the green glow under my car. I got the boom boom system you can hit real far. Oh, hey, hey, hey. Oh, pretty, pretty shy. Whoa, 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 hey, hey, hey. Oh, pretty, pretty fly. Whoa, whoa. What do I have to say to get inside, girl? What do I have to say? I got the fever for the flavor of a Gucci. Yo, Emma, mama, hoochie. I got the fever for the flavor of a Gucci. Yo, Emma, mama, hoochie. Whoa, 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 go!
What? Some boom, boom, boom. What?
1 on 1, 2 on 1, 3 on 1. Add 1 for fun.
Gotta flickety flick your tongue. You running straight up on some man and throw a down up. You can beat up on the ball, you can be the one. You drive it like a semi to the city, summer sun. Getting off inside the traffic, get the local Instagram. Notice that the weather in the region getting damn. You wanna mail a letter, you gotta lick the stamp. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Damn! Really? Wow! See it? Yeah, she going down on it. cheek. She loved me back. Say riggedy, 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 rag. The big old mountain movies get a grab a heart attack. You're running through the front door, but you leave it through the back. You're jumping over fences and you almost rub your sack. You're sucking down the juices and your favorite flavor tank. I love an average and need a baby boomerang. Don't be the kryptonite and you be Superman. What's up? Cuss up now. This is a win.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, animals of all kind. Welcome to another Bathurst special here, and this time it is literally on like Donkey Kong tonight. We have GT Club and AK Racing joining together here for a absolutely sensational 1.5 hour enduro session here at glorious Mount Panorama in these beautiful GT3 cars. You got every single bloody brand that you want here on the planet racing around the mountain here today. It's going to be a very, very spicy event, I would say. We've got a timed event, so 90 minutes of pure racing, but before that we have a qualifying session which is going to set the grid for that 1.5 hour race. It's also a time lapse, if I can speak correctly, experience, because we're going to start at virtual 5:45 a.m. That is pure darkness, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be looking at all the lights of these beautiful GT3 cars circulating around Mount Panorama for the first couple of laps, and then we'll spring into the dawn coming over the skyline. I can just imagine the absolute spectacle that we will have there as all these beautiful GT3 cars make their way around Mount Panorama for another lap. It's going to be one of those days, I reckon. We've got plenty of swinging of, I would say, the proverbials in the racing department. Who's going to come out on top with everyone racing against each other? Is it going to be AK Racing, or is it going to be a GT Club member come through with the chockies to take the win and be crowned the king of the mountain tonight? It's going to be another beautiful event. I can't wait. I hope you all at home have got your beverages and your food all sorted, had some dinner, and get your adrenaline pumping, because it's going to be an absolute stellar event here tonight. I can't wait to call my fellow compatriot Chris Munro is MIA, and I know where he is MIA. He's probably got a campfire going somewhere now, pitched a tent, just sitting around having a couple of 4X golds up there in far north Queensland, just enjoying whatever serenity he can with his 5,000 kids and 28,000 family members all at the one campsite for the weekend. But we're missing you here in the commentary box, my mate, and hopefully we'll see you back soon. If not, if you can pop on the stream, I'll happily oblige to get you in the comment box with yours truly. It'll be a great experience nonetheless, whether you are here or not, because I'm a racer, and I'm sure everyone here who is watching tonight is a racer as well. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful event coming up soon. So I'm going to leave you with the solder tones of all these beautiful different engines going around with those noises. You've got V8s, you've got turbo 6s, you've got flat plane, you've got overhead cams, you've got everything you want here. You've got flat 6s too in the Porsches there, a sight to behold too. But everything's happening, and we'll be back shortly, ladies and gentlemen, in about 2 minutes time. I'm just going to quickly exit the commentary box, and I will be back with you guys shortly. go, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. 4 minutes and 25 seconds to go, and we have got some quick drivers on the server here in practice. This is only practice, mind you. Everyone's flying at the moment. We've got 203s, 202s if you don't mind, flicking around everywhere, all the way back to 205s. It is on like Donkey Kong with everyone here tonight. It's going to be a cracking event. Lachlan Grant is an AK Racing member, and he will be looking for redemption. He has been in fine form in the AK Racing V8 Supercars League and trying his best to wrestle that Aston Martin around Panorama, and he's doing it well with a 203.05 basically versus Brandon Pierce, another AK Racing member here, and Daniel Cicluna, another AK Racing member too, and GT Club, mind you, who's part of both. Coming for King of the Mountain here tonight. That is an official bee's dick, as Chris Munro would say, prior to the event. We've been looking at all these different cars circulating. We've got a Ford Mustang, we've got a Lamborghini Gallardo there, and I'm going to call him Two Dogs. Matt Double is coming around. That's his nickname for the evening. Brian's cousin, AK Racing Finest, is in a Mercedes-Benz AMG GT3. That is a cool looking car and a cool sounding one too, mind you. It's one of those cars that you think to yourself, geez, what are we going to do here with everything involved? Is it going to be V8 power, or is it going to be, just like we would anticipate, a dead heat with everyone basically running around in, well, I would say about 5 or 6 different engine layouts in these motor vehicles. That's why GT3 Racing is unique, because we see everything you can wonder, and it's basically a mechanic's orgasm when you look at all these cars circulating, all the different sounds. It's not like Formula 1, ladies and gentlemen, all the same sounding engines and whatnot. This is go to Wowee, but homologated nonetheless to be as equal in the performance department for everyone in sundry. Brett Limmer is a GT Club Racing member himself. He's flying around in an Aston Martin. The shock absorber, Toby Munro, he's sitting in the pits just enjoying himself there tonight. Ian O'Brien, windscreen from AK Racing, flying around in, that is one of the coolest looking vehicles I've ever seen in my life. It's very much like a kit car, I would say, but you've just got to put your hats off because one of those cars could be the dark horse tonight. The bumper, nudge, another Aston Martin. Then we've got a Porsche, Logan Ray, a fellow AK Racing member. That is a cool looking livery. I like the look of that, going from white to orange to purple. That's or even salmon pink, I would say, with a bit of a dragon on the side of it. That's a horn looking car. Well done, Logan Ray, on the skin department there. Phil Whiteman, loving it in the BMW tonight. A dominant car in real life, so to speak, but he will be looking to make. Can't wait. I hope you guys can't wait either, as pre-practice has just come to an end. So we will see some lap times falling, maybe just to get a bit of practice in. But if that is the trend to go off here, Matt Double is going to be probably out in front by a fair margin, probably at the end of lap 1, I would say, with that sort of pace. But we'll first, that is what racing is all about. We'll see what happens in qualifying. We've still got that to come over, ladies and gentlemen, and be one of those hurdles where it could all come unstuck. There's only about 15 minutes or 13 minutes of qualifying to race through, so we'll see where that goes. And then, bang! Just as we thought it was all over Red Rover for AK Racing, Daniel Cicluna just comes through and just says, thank you very much, Two Dogs. I'm coming straight out and doing a 202.02, if you don't mind. And he exits the server, just Nico Rosberg style. I'm coming in here, winning everything, and then I'm retiring, boys. So he's retired to the garage. Our rundown for final practice is as follows. Daniel Cicluna in first position with a 202.02. Two Dogs in second position with a 202.3. Brian's cousin with a 203.05, if you don't mind. Lachlan Grant, look at that. That is nothing between it there, ladies and gentlemen. Only 6,000ths of a second between McFadden and Grant. Brandon Pierce comes through the 203.11. Ryan Ford, 204.7. The A-Man is coming through at 205s. Brett Limmer, the shock absorber, the windscreen, bumper cart, McDonald's, Logan Ray, Phil Whiteman, Simon Levitt, and the shouting insect is the 209. The two come through, and Finn Sinai with a 211. He'll be wanting some practice soon. Oh, jeez, it's all going to happen. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got about 10 minutes of driver's briefing to come up with at this point in time. In between then, we might have a hot lap come through by one of the GT Club members who's kind enough to jump on the server in between to do something like that. But we'll keep you posted in the meantime. Coming right up for all of us, we'll be qualifying, so stick around. And we will be back shortly here right away on Sensational TV.
Gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah.
Change over to the race comms, please. And you're there, Nudge. Might have to message Nudge. Are you having any issues getting into race comms, Munton? Mutton? So you need it. Yeah, so you just need
Everybody's calling. Underneath the war pigs crawling, begging mercies for the sins. Satan laughing spreads his wings. Oh Lord, yeah.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Qualifying is underway. 12 minutes of absolutely flying laps coming around here, presented to yourself by Zach O'Reilly here at Sensational TV. And we have got racers doing their outlap now. That's not the way to do it with the Sinai brother actually doing his best impersonation of Ken Block, just trying to get onto the grass and then maybe onto the circuit at some stage in that beautiful Martini liveried Porsche. Who's going to come out on top? Give us some comments in the live chat on YouTube, and I'll have a look at them between sessions. Tell you what, Henry Ford's great grandchild here in Ryan is on for a good lap tonight. I reckon he's going to come up somewhere between 7th and 4th, I would say. That's my prediction for tonight, but we'll see where we end up with everyone else having a good dip as they go around the Mount Panorama circuit. It's interesting to see the different behaviours of some cars and how they handle. We've got mid-engine, we've got front engine, we've got full rear engine cars. That's a cool car. That's an Australian-made Brabham motorsport vehicle. I can't remember what the name. I think it's the BT35 or 45. I can't remember from sure, but that is a really cool car. There's only about a couple of street versions made of that vehicle. So it's good to see it out here in GT3 land. The quickest guy from practice, Two Dogs in Matt Double, is looking like that Lamborghini's been off the track a little bit there, looking a bit filthy. But he is one of the men to watch. Also is Daniel Cicluna there. You will notice he is circulating in 8th position in the number 1 Mustang. He is also very quick. And there goes Matt Double for an opening banker lap of a 2:02.8. That is quick, ladies and gentlemen. If you are just putting in your first lap in a GT3 car around here with changed conditions and everything, it is very quick to put in a 2:02.8. So he will be looking to, I guess, get over the top and underneath and wherever you want to go, upside down, inside out, whatever you want, over Lachlan Grant and Daniel Cicluna there, because they were the 1, 2 and 3 pace setters from the practice session earlier, as we just saw. Speaking of which, the windscreen man's just banking himself with a 2:05.1. He's putting in just something to mosey himself around there for a first banker lap here at Mount Panorama. He's only got about 3, maybe 4 laps to do here of qualifying with everyone on board to get those times where you want them to be, because it's very important where you start here at Bathurst, because you don't want to get caught in the carnage down below 10th. I can guarantee you that. We saw absolute mayhem at the last Bathurst that AK Racing put on with the supercars, anything from 15th down, and the track was blocked on lap 1 in our 2-hour enduro. That was something to behold, but nonetheless, these guys here are all top racers, so we hopefully won't see any of that, as well as the windscreen is just circulating nicely around here. Daniel Cicluna, the man of the moment, I was just talking about him. He's come into the pits, but he's put in the quickest lap with a 2:02.0. Wowee. By Gigo, by crikey. In the fair dinkum department, that was absolutely sensational stuff there from Daniel Cicluna. If Ray Rubbs Warren was here, I think he'd be proud of what my impression was there. Very 12th man-esque, but that is quick. 2:02.0. That's not mucking around, ladies and gentlemen. He is wanting to win this Bathurst in that Mustang. That's a cool looking Mustang. That's the new model, the shape update, everything. 2024 version with the very Space Age-esque front end there for him. Matt Double's going for another lap as well. Lachlan Grant is a little bit off. He's a 2:03.3, so he'll be wanting to improve on that lap, because he's done a 2:03.1 effectively so far. So he is wanting to get on in that Aston Martin for sure. Kim Weckert is flying around there in Nissan Skyline. Good to see that he's repping the Japanese brothers around here with the Honda we saw earlier as well, early in the practice session. But he's not going to get too far doing that sort of stuff, and he's teleported to the pits. He's run a 2:04.36 as his best lap. Henry Ford's great grandson is circulating around as well. He's way off the times. He must have had a moment up there on Skyline to flick off him. The windscreen, Ian O'Brien is starting a flying lap, so I reckon we're going to have a good crack with him and see where he sits in the time positions. I'll give a bit of a track guide here for the windscreen himself. He doesn't even know this is happening, but that's fine. As he comes around and just slaps it into 3rd gear as he gets around Griffin's Bend. He'll be coming up now to the cutting in 4th gear, slaps down from 4th to 3rd to 2nd, Gets the car pointed in on that racing line as quick as and easy as he can. And he's flying through here. 45 seconds just ticked over. He's going to come through Quarry Corner and up into Reed Park. Slaps it through there. He's 1.5 seconds up on his best time already. It's not the quickest so far, but that is a significant improvement on his sector. Nearly slaps the wall coming into Sulman Park. And this is McPhillamy and Skyline. Wowee. And he's going to stuff his lap up here, ladies and gentlemen. He nearly lost it all completely. Four-wheel drifted straight off the track. And that is a lap cut for him. So his lap is invalidated, is the windscreen. Oh, geez, I don't want to do that too much. We've only got 6 minutes to go. So we'll get off him and let's have a look at the shock absorber. He's flying around now too. He's coming over into Sulman Park here too, coming into McPhillamy over the rise. He's 6.5 tenths up on his best lap time so far. So this is looking like a good lap for him to improve on his 2:05.3 that he's got in the bank. But we'll find out where it all happens, as this is a very tricky section through the S's into the dipper. And then we've got Forest Elbow coming up here. Very hard corner to negotiate at the best of time. But that Audi looks very planted through there. Flicks it out onto Conrad. Nudges the wall and just gets the rear end up in the air. Nearly three-wheel style. And he's still 1.61 seconds up on his best. So this is going to be a flyer for Toby Munro, the shock absorber. I hope he gets somewhere up there in the position department tonight. He's a dark horse for me, and we'll see where it goes, because that BioCircle Audi R8 is looking fantastic on track. Very steak F1 Sauber-esque livery there. I'm enjoying it thoroughly, to be truthful. Just enjoying that sort of thing cracking around the circuit. Where's it going to put him? He's in the 2 minutes now. 2:01, 2:02, 2:03. 2:04. Where's that going to put him? 2:04.98. So that's a 7th position for him so far here in qualifying with 4.5 minutes to go, or just over it. Now the shock absorber's found himself in 7th. Now where is this man, Matt Double? He's flying around because he's just been overtaken by another AK Racing compatriot and Harley Marshall. Wowee. The Mercedes is flying around here at Bathurst, and he's just stuffed up the exit coming out of Hell Corner. And he's aborted that lap, but he has done a 2:02.546. Scuzz is still on a best with a 2:02.0, a good half a second better than anyone else so far in qualifying. That is flying around. Lachlan Grant will want to be getting on his horse and galloping away into the distance there in his Aston Martin. That's a really cool looking car. Love the purple on any race car, if you don't mind. That's probably one of my favourite colours to be on a race car. And Lachlan Grant will be wanting to improve with a 2:03.04 so far as his best. We'll see where that comes out. Where's McDonald's at? McDonald's is flying through. Now, I'm telling you now, the drive-through efficiency at this point in time is looking pretty good. He was 2.1 seconds down, and now he's 2.0 seconds. So he's about a 10.5 down on his best. If you do the quick math on where he would be, it's sitting there in 11th. But that is a cool, very cool looking Brabham. I love it. Absolutely love to see it out there. Flying around here at the moment is Mako. What's it going to do? 2:05, 2:06, 2:07.0. So that will keep him in 11th position for now. But we'll see where that goes. Jesse Marshall, which is Harley Marshall's brother, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen, if it's your first time tuning in, is in this series too. And that is a cool looking Corvette. Very, very cool. Another Chevrolet advancing around the circuit. I'll tell you what, that V8 sounds amazing. There's nothing wrong with that for sure. And he'll be wanting to do some more laps around Bathurst, and I reckon by the end of the night he'll have his head dialed in to the Mount Panorama circuit for sure, with the last 2.5 minutes. And our two quickest guys on track currently are in the pits. Now, Scuzz Kakunas, just as I said it, speak of the devil, he is coming out now to put in his final lap of qualifying. So we'll stick with, we'll come back to him very shortly. Chris Rieker is basically flying in that Nissan Skyline. We saw him earlier in the session just yeeting it into the walls. He's dead on in the first sector, ladies and gentlemen. Purple in the first. Absolutely equal. You cannot get any more equal than that on Daniel Cicluna's fastest time. So this is going to be an absolute belter if you can get it pointed in the right direction everywhere. Really wide line over there, Skyline into the S's, and this will be interesting to see. He's just ran it a little bit wide there, didn't hug the corner as much as he should. Where is this going to put Kim in the grand scheme of things as he comes down basically into Forest Elbow now and gets the car pointed nicely. Beautiful exit there. uses all the track on the outside. Where is this going to put him in the second sector? We'll only find out shortly. He's 2/10 down on Daniel Cicluna's best time, but that is going to put him in second at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, with 1:34 to go. This is anyone's qualifying session here at Mount Panorama. Chris Weckert is basically smashing it through here in that Nissan Skyline. He's got a hot lap and a half going on. Hope he doesn't get impeded here by a slower Brabham right in front of him. We'll see where this is going to put him up. It looks like he's up on all sectors here at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen. Is this going to be a top 2 finish here with 1:10 seconds to go here in qualifying? He rounds the corner, just runs a bit wide over the curb there, but that puts him into second position. Well done to Chris Weckert. He has come with a 2:02.32, and that is a rip snorter of a lap there, if I don't say myself. Well done to Kim. He's going to keep going around, I reckon, and have another good belt at that, but he's already 3/10 down on his best, so maybe it's all over for him at this stage. Where is Two Dogs? Two Dogs is still parked in the pits, so he's content with 4th. That's him done, and same with Harley Marshall too. So very interesting here. We've got some cocky drivers here, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind. I'll tell you who isn't cocky. Brandon Pierce, look at that. Look at that McLaren in the in the Monster Energy livery. Very similar to his AK Racing V8 supercar livery as well. It's a horn-looking car in the Mercedes-Benz, and he's gone over to the dark side in McLaren for this event here in GT3 at GT Club AK Racing Enduro Special here. And this will see where it puts him, because it looks like his last lap was a 2:02.9, so I think that's him done, as qualifying is just about to finish now, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it's all over, but Daniel Cicluna is on his lap, and it doesn't give him the checkered flag, so unless my timing tower here has completely stuffed up, he might be on a hot lap here to improve his time even more, because he's 3/10 out in front of anyone else, and he hasn't been shown the checkered flag. So this is very interesting, and it looks like he's on a hot lap and a half here. By geez, he is flying over the top of the mountain here, dipping it in as hard as he can, hard on the brakes, flicks it in beautifully there, nearly scrapes the wall, coming through the S's there and the dipper. That was fantastic to watch. Forest Elbow now is the only way he has to get it right, and he slid it in 4-wheel style. That was cracking. He smacked the wall on the outside just as a consolidation prize there for his style. What is this going to do for him? I'm not sure if this is going to be a lap or not, ladies and gentlemen. My timing tower has stuffed up completely, but he is nonetheless on fire through here at this point in time at Mount Panorama. It's cracking to see a car dancing on the edge, especially a GT3 car, after we've seen in real life a 1:58, I think it was, from a Mercedes AMG unrestricted in the GT3 class around Mount Panorama. That's unheard of. But let's see if this is going to be a hot lap, or if this is just my timing tower stuffing up here for Daniel Cicluna. He's coming around now for his lap, and will this be any improvement? No, it was just an in lap, and hang on a minute. He's done a 2:01.7. A 2:01.7. Now, get absolutely stuffed, ladies and gentlemen. A 2:01.7 around Bathurst in a Mustang GT3. That is 6/10 quicker than anyone else on the track. By jingos. Can you even script that sort of stuff? What a lap from Daniel Cicluna there. Scuzz is on fire. Holy cow. And a dark horse, Kim Weckert, come through with his 2:02.36. 2:02.32 if you don't mind. Harley Marshall, 3rd place. Well done, sir. 2:02.5. Matt Double, 2:02.8. Brandon Pierce, 2:02.9. Jason McFadden, Brian's cousin, in a 2:03s. And then everyone sort of dips into 2:03s, 2:04s in Lachlan Grant, Ryan Ford, Toby Munro, and the windscreen, Ian O'Brien. What a qualifying session, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen. Nudgy's come through. The bumper car has come through. Jesse Marshall, Harley's brother, has come through with 2:06. Logan Ray, Mad Macca, Finn Sinai, 2:07 to round it out. Whiteman, Simon Levitt as well at 2:08.6. Whew, geez, that is a quick time, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind. I'll tell you what, 2:01s around here in any car is bloody quick. Well done to Daniel Cicluna there. He is going to be the one to watch, I would say, unless Matt Double has something to say about it in the race strategy department. But in saying that, we've only got a couple of minutes here until the big dance. And the big dance, ladies and gentlemen, is 1.5 hours racing, but time lapse of 12 hours, if you don't mind. So we will be starting at about 5:45 in the morning, which is complete and total darkness here, and Bathurst looks amazing, and so do the cars on circuit. We'll start at 5:45 and end at 5:45 in the virtual daylight department. And that is going to be something to behold because it can put you completely off where your race is, where your driving line is, and everything, all the above really, as you come through the Mount Panorama circuit for the first time on cold tyres and in the darkness. It's a challenge for anyone. Doesn't matter, sim racing, arcade, or real life. It's going to be an absolute rip snorter to see that flying through and all these beautiful GT3 cars just having a good crack around here at Mount Panorama in the darkness to start. So without further ado, go and refill your glasses. Go get your cups of beverages. It's Friday night after all. Where do you else do you want to be? Got to be here at Sensational TV to watch AK Racing and GT Club join together in a beautiful symphony of GT3 cars coming right up here at Mount Panorama for 12 hours in 1.5 hours of Bathurst Mount Panorama action. We'll be right back here shortly on Sensational TV. Don't go anywhere.
To die unsung would really bring you down. Although wet eyes would never suit you. Walk through the archetypal suicide. Die young is far too boring these days.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are only 26 seconds away here from the Bathurst 12 hours in 1.5 hours here at Sensational TV with AK Racing and GT Club having a good crack with each other. It is a cracking start. We've got Daniel Cicluna here to start and Kim Wecker right to on the first row of the grid, if I can speak properly, by Jingos. And we've got 5 lights, 6 lights coming up now, and we are on fire here. Ladies and gentlemen, who's going to get the whole shot? It is Daniel Cicluna. He is gone. He is absolutely gone. Ladies and gentlemen, he's gone straight away and found himself all the way in front here. And it's going to be one of those races where you think to yourself, why is everyone having a good crack here? Because it is, as I've just joked to you all, it's a rolling start. So we're going to have a full lap of circular racing on those road dampeners, basically for a rolling start. So we can't do anything about the positions. Don't get too excited at home. I know you all got excited with everything happening there, but we've got a rolling start. So Daniel Cicluna here is in first position. Kim Wecker behind him. Harley Marshall behind him. The two dogs is behind him. Brian McFadden's cousin sitting behind him in 5th. Brandon Pierce in 6th. Let's have a look at these cars if we can see anything. You can just see them here in the circular aura of all those headlights flying through. We've got Lachlan Grant sitting in 7th position. Ian O'Brien, the windscreen, is going to be one of those dark horses tonight, ladies and gentlemen. He will be having a good crack in Vodafone Motorsport vehicles. We've got the nudge, basically the barrier, is going to be flying around there in 9th position. Jesse Marshall, 10th place. Great drive by him to get into 10 in the qualifying session there. I told you he was quick, ladies and gentlemen. He's quick. 10th position there for himself in the Corvette. Mad Macca is flying around there in the Brabham. He'll be looking at a good result there too. Look at that beautiful sunset as we climb over Skyline there into the S's and straight through on this Mount Panorama circuit. It's beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff to watch. BMWs all around here. Phil Whiteman in that exact M4 Sport competition. He'll be wanting to get a good result here for himself. Finn Sinai is flying. He's in the Porsche, the lonely Porsche out there actually on the grid. So that's interesting to see. The flat 6 probably should have been the hottest choice considering who won the last Bathurst 12 hour in Matt Campbell. Flying around in the Porsche. Simon Levitt in the Jaguar, the Austin Powers Motorsport Racing vehicle there. Sirif, I'm going to have a guess. Sirif Iman is circulating, and I don't know what the hell's just happened here. My goodness gracious me. How has this happened, ladies and gentlemen? We have got cars sideways, pointing the wrong way, pointing the other way, stalled on the grid. Logan Ray's just circulating himself around now for a hot lap. I don't know why he's come in. So is Ryan Ford as well. They're flying. But what has happened here to Dravelmere? I'm not sure what happened there with everyone. That is something to behold there on a formation lap. I'm not sure if these guys got the message or not. But the only way to find out if they got the message or not is if they're actually having a good crack with each other. And I'm not sure that that's happening. I don't know what the hell's going on. But nonetheless, Daniel Cicluna is leading the pack through. And it is going to be go time by the time they get under here, which is the AK Racing half-coloured banner. And he is gone. So race on, ladies and gentlemen. We are green flag here at Mount Panorama, Bathurst, for 12 hours in 1.5 hours. And Daniel Cicluna's got a jump there just. And look who's gone up the inside. Chris Weckert's gone up the inside. Harley Marshall in 3rd position here. Matt Double, 2 Dogs, is sitting in 4th in the Gold Lamborghini. He will be wanting to get up the back of Harley Marshall at any rate as soon as he possibly can. Brian's cousin in 5th. Broden Pierce in 6th position. Lachlan Grant, Ian O'Brien. The shock absorber is sitting there in 9th position. He's flying up this mountain straight there too with the barrier behind him as well in nudge. And that is a suck and a half, ladies and gentlemen. What is going on here between all 3 of these gentlemen? They are having a good battle. And Nudge has got up the inside of the shock absorber for now, but he's going to get out of it. And the shock absorber's gone straight down. He's taken over 2. And then Nudge just got overtaken here by Jesse Marshall as well in the Corvette. Jesse Marshall's having a cracking drive here for the first 3 or 4 corners here at Bathurst. He is not mucking around. He's just wiped the wall there, if you don't mind. That's going to be some aero damage for him. Oh, geez, it's all happening here. I'm about to cough, but I'm trying to hold it in here because the action is so exciting. Everything's happening up the front. We've only got 3 or 4 tenths between Harley Marshall Kim Weckett and Matt Double. That is incredible racing. Look at that angry pack. And Kim Weckett is the benefactor of all this because he has gone from second to third position. And Matt Double and McFadden behind are absolutely hounding each other. And that's going to let everyone else behind them stack up like a freight train and get into a top 3 position if any of these guys come a proper here. But it's Linus Stern. Daniel Cicluna is in first position. Harley Marshall in second as we come down Conrad Straight. Kim Weckett in third. Matt Double in fourth. Jason McFadden in fifth. Brandon Pierce in sixth. Lachlan Grant in seventh. And then we've got a little bit of a gap there to the windscreen himself. Ian O'Brien, the shock absorber in ninth position. Jesse Marshall in 10th to round out your top 10. And then we've got Nudge, Vladimir Putin behind him in 12th. McDonald's, Whiteman, Sinaib, the angry insect. The shouting insect, if you don't mind. As Jesse Marshall's getting a bit hounded here by the shock absorber, and Jesse Marshall's gone wide, and he's nearly lost it in the Corvette there, and that's around the that's allowed the shock absorber and Nudge to go straight past, and Jesse Marshall's lost 3 positions in one corner on the opening lap here at Bathurst. You don't want to do that. I know you've got an hour and 30 minutes to go, but holy shit, if you don't want anything to happen, it's taking yourself out of the race too early, because then you've got to claw your way back for the last hour and a half, if you don't mind, as the sun is rising here very quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Holy mackerel, it's one of those things where you just love the time lapse. It's beautiful, beautiful sort of thing to watch. GT3 Cars at Bathurst flying around here. But speaking of flying, Harley Marshall is having a dip here at Daniel Cicluna. Scuzz in front is getting hounded, and that BWT Mercedes-Benz is looking very, very racy at this point in time. I would say that it's another one of those things where you get your tyres on early, you get the pressures up, and then you have a good crack, because there's pit stops, there's everything in between here, ladies and gentlemen. The fuel rate, the tyre wear rate is up to 275%, if you don't mind. So there are going to be some strategies to behold here at some stage in the race, and it's going to be too hard for me to keep track of it all, but I'll do my best. And Scuzz has just broken that gap. It was only 2 tenths, and now it's 6 tenths as they come across the top of the mountain down through the S's. And let's see what happens here. Is there going to be any advantage in the straight line speed here for Harley Marshall in the Mercedes-Benz? It's V8 versus V8 here, if you don't mind. 5 litre versus 8,000.2 litres in the Mercedes-Benz there. He will be having a good crack. And I'll tell you, the only person who's more nervous at the moment than Daniel Cicluna is Vladimir Putin, because he is trying to get past the windscreen, and the windscreen just does not like giving up positions too easily. I'm telling you that, but he's just got drag raced down the straight. That Audi R8 has gone bang and said, thank you, mother, for the rabbits. I'm taking that position off you, and windscreen's been passed by Vladimir, and that is a progressive start for himself. Gravelmill was in about 12th, 13th, so very good to see him gain a few positions as Scuzz just puts in a quick lap, 2:03.1 if you don't mind, with a bit of fuel on board and some fresh rubber on track. And he has galloped out to about a second now, if you look on the timing towers there between himself and Harley Marshall so far. Let's take a breath, ladies and gentlemen. We got through it, the first lap and the second lap unscathed. There's nothing happening in terms of the damage department here, which is very good to see. I don't know how we stuffed up the formation lap at half pace, but we got through everything here at full pace so far. Looks like a bit of action down the back of the pack there with Levitt and the yelling insect. The screaming insect has come a proper there, I would say. He's come into the pits in the Alpha Tauri Honda. And just as we looked at that, Jesse Marshall had just got up the inside of the basher and had a crack there and said, I'm coming for you, I'm taking that position off you. And he's done so very nicely in the C7 Corvette there. That is a cool looking car too, if you don't mind. I love the long sweeping bonnet and the bonnet scoop there as well that dips in to vent out the engine temperatures. It's just a beautiful car to look at. Race factor or street factor, if you don't mind, for Jesse Marshall. Now here we're wanting to not do that too much and tap the wall, because there's aero damage for sure around here. 50% damage, ladies and gentlemen, but in these GT3 cars, it's nearly like real life, because these have very, very touchy damage models here in the sim racing department. So don't you worry about anything there. Oh, it's time to take a breath, I reckon. It's just one of those races where you think to yourself, should I get going early, or should I come back and save myself at the end in the commentary department? Because the vocal cords, as good as they are at singing, they're not too good at commentating and talking for about 1.5 hours straight. But I'm going to do my best because it is nothing but racing, and I get excited when it's racing. And then when it's racing time, there's no better time to be alive, I would say. It doesn't matter virtual or sim racing, as Mad Macca and McDonald's just goes through and says, I'm going through the drive-through, son, getting a double cheeseburger meal and pissing off here into the distance. And in that McLaren, in that Brabham, that is a cool looking car, and he's got past the Aston Martin with ease there under braking. And Nudgy will be thinking, how can I get him back somehow? Or I just wait till it's a long race to go. We've still got an hour and 26 minutes left as the sun is rising further and further up into the morning sky there around Mount Panorama. Got a bit of an orange hue there at the moment, with everyone flying around here with the sound of V8s, flat 6s, flat 8s, what else, whatever you want, V6s, turbo straight 6s, the lot. You've got everything happening here at Mount Panorama, ladies and gentlemen, and they sound magnificent, if you don't mind. What's going on here at the front? This battle has just been seesawing here between Harley Marshall and Daniel Cicluna and Kim Weckert as well. They have basically been in a three position battle for about half a second between each other, and it's sort of seesaw between 7/10 and half a second, and sometimes, as we saw, as close as 2/10 with Harley Marshall getting right at the back of Daniel at some stage there in the Mustang. Now this is a battle to behold here. If these guys can keep it straight and consistent for the rest of the race, it's going to be a sight to see at the end. I wonder what we're seeing in YouTube department. Is there going to be some people out there who think that we are going to see a very, very close event by the finish? I'm not sure, but I honestly reckon it's going to happen. And we will see where this ends up in the fair dinkum department for everyone else. But it looks like we're having a good crack. And nonetheless, Harley Marshall will be singing to the high hills here with this sort of performance so far. He is loving life in that AMG. He's got it hooked up very, very well indeed. Scuzz has got let's say he hasn't got any sort of leeway at any point of this race, apart from the first lap between himself and Harley Marshall, as Kim is coming through, and he is posting quick times in that Skyline, a 2:03.05 versus a 2:03.124 for Scuzz. So only a bee's dick in it, only half a tenth, if you don't mind, but still the fastest lap of the race so far, ladies and gentlemen. Here is Kim Weckert in the beautiful Nissan Skyline double. He was quick in practice. He's just wavered off the back here. He's about 1.8 seconds behind, as we see him circulating in that beautiful looking Gallardo or Hurricane, whatever you want to call it. That will be something to behold. I reckon he's just biding his time here with everyone here, his two dogs. So we'll see where he ends up at this stage. Maybe got a bit more fuel on board than the front three drivers. But that could be anything, because he's pushing hard. You can see how he just whacked the wall there. Whew, that was close. That was qualifying-esque stuff. So he's got that Lamborghini absolutely flying. And famous quote from Frank Sinatra is, if you want to be someone, buy a Ferrari. But if you are someone, get a Lamborghini. And if that's anything to behold, Matt Double is someone. And he is a race driver at this point in time, flying around, but he's not getting off lightly, because in saying that, Brian's cousin, the ARIA charts are calling this week. Where everyone else who's just tuned in, if you're new to the Simsational TV channel, Jason McFadden is Brian's cousin, which is Brian McFadden, the singer. And every time he has a good result, it's all because of Brian's performances on the top 100 charts. And it is relative to Jason's performance on track. And sometimes it's more than relative, because I think if Jason gets a good result, Brian's goes up a fair few there. So that's the inside joke here. But he is all over the back of Matt Double, going left, right, upside down, sideways. That is fantastic looking racing here between the two of them. Scuzz just does a 2:02.98 to take that fastest lap off Kim Weckert for now. But this battle here is spicy, ladies and gentlemen. Let's ride on board with Jason McFadden and see where the difference is between these two guys in a lap. And you know what? I think this is a good time at the moment to just have a listen, because this is a horn-sounding vehicle. I'm going to shush up for about a minute and a half as we go across, and there's a move on here. Is he going to get it done? Oh, he's going around the outside, trailer park girl style. And no, Matt Double's having none of it. He nearly pushes Jason into the wall on the outside with some feisty defensive driving there by Jingos. Arthur was just getting content with his battle. We're going to stick with him for the moment. Jason will not be happy with that. He won't be taking any prisoners either himself if it comes to a good overtake, and he nearly did there. That was nearly a stunning move, but Two Dogs was having nothing about it. Just pushed him way out wide and said, I'm taking this fourth position. Doesn't matter if you want to get it or not. I'm keeping it for now. And that was some feisty stuff. The gap has now blown out with all of that battling to half a second now. But is Jason going to be able to gain any advantage down here through the S's? Nearly loses it there too. Oh, that was close. Jeez, this is good watching to race. Good race to watch. Sorry if I can't. I'm dyslexic tonight. That's for sure. But Jason is negotiating himself around Mount Panorama beautifully here. And let's see if the horsepower difference comes in or the downforce, whichever one, because that is nearly close enough to get a bit of suckage. And the suckage here at this point in time, it's 8:30, but I'll tell you what, King Street, the ladies of the night down at King Street will be very jealous of some of the sucking going on tonight here at AK Racing GT Club, with everyone circulating around at some astronomical pace. And Jason's got an advantage there. That is cracking stuff. So we can see where the car is strong and where the car is not strong in Jason's hand. So as he comes through the chase and into Murray's corner here, he's got a little bit of an advantage there from half a second, just petering out. 2:04.2 versus a 2:04.3, only a tenth of a second in it if you don't mind in the lap time department, and that was with battling. So those guys will know that being battling like that for a little bit just costs them a second a lap, and that's going to cost them between themselves and maybe a podium position if they keep fighting on too hard. You've got to think of the big picture here, because when you think of the big picture, it makes sense. If you lose a second and you're a tenth quicker a lap than the guy in front of you, you do the quick maths, it's still going to take you 10 laps if you are consistently only a tenth quicker of that guy in front of you to then get up the back end of him again. So every tenth and every half a tenth and every second counts here in motor racing. It's very, very technical in that side of things, and you just got to think, should I buy my time here or should I battle it out and just wait until someone maybe makes a mistake in front of you? Some of the IQ lessons here, comments from the super coach, if you don't mind. But Brian's cousin is circulating well, and so is Matt Double. But that lead, speaking of circulating well, between Harley Marshall and Scuzz has just blown out there. The martial law has dropped off a little bit. Not too much, but just a little bit between himself and the lead there. Daniel's just putting in some very quick laps and some very consistent laps. As you can see down in the bottom right hand corner of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, you can see the last lap there, 2:03.7 for Harley Marshall, and Daniel Seclunas was a 2:03.04, if you don't mind. So he's as consistent as anything here. Only about 600th of a second between his last lap and the fastest lap that he's ever done. So he is flying, and you can see on his delta there, little red box there on the corner, he's still only a tenth off, if not that, between himself and his best lap again. So that Mustang is hooked up something proper. Wowee. And look at that, a 2:03.07. So he's within 6,000ths of a second of each time he circulates around here. That is called consistency. Consistency wins you championships, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care what you say. You may win 3 or 4 races, but if you don't have the consistency to finish on the podium in a championship season, you will not win that championship. That is for sure. And Daniel Seclune is giving us a good educational lesson here on how to drive a Mustang, at least, around Mount Panorama. It is entertaining stuff to watch. Closest battle on track at this point in time is between Oman and Whiteman. So if you say anything that you want to say anything about it, the Malaysian himself in Saif, I'm gonna call him that, or Saif, I can't remember, but he'll forgive me after it. I'm so sorry, my dear friend, I didn't even hear your name. But these two, in BMW versus BMW, are not letting go of each other. They're just not having any leeway. Whiteman is under pressure, 14th to 13th, hot property at the moment. I reckon here this could be a bit of a suckage move, because Aman has got the best run off Hull Corner, if I can remember the track right. And he is sucking himself, side drafting, if you don't mind, down the straight. Where is this going to put him? It's going to put him on the outside, but is there going to be some leeway? Yes, there is, and that is a fantastic move there by Aman. He is flying. That is a very, very good move there. 13th and 14th. Very well done by Whiteman as well, just to yield when the time was crucial. And the two BMWs will resume that battle here on track for the time being. That was some clean racing. We love to see that sort of stuff. It's not often you get to see some sort of clean racing down that far in the positional changes, but he's just been released, and that just goes to show how much Whiteman was holding him up so far in this 12-hour into 1 hour and 30-minute event here at GT Club and AK Racing event. It's just fantastic to watch. But speaking of fantastic to watch, Daniel Cicluna has just started a flying lap. We're going to have to sit on board with him. Turn up your volume, ladies and gentlemen, and let's enjoy a beautiful lap here by Daniel Cicluna in the Mustang around Mount Panorama for about 1 minute and 42 seconds. What a lap there by yours truly in Daniel Cicluna. That is a fantastic example of pushing the car to the limit. We saw him literally come through the cutting there and into Reed Park, nearly sideways, four-wheel drifting it. That was some beautiful stuff there, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen at home, to watch. And that Mustang sounds good. 278, I think, was the top speed there for himself. And he is flying. He's just bridged that gap, something chronic to Harley Marshall. 3.1 seconds or thereabouts, 3.3 now, if you don't mind. So he is flying away with the lead of this race so far. God forbid something happens or a commentator's curse happens here. It's generally in more of a double effect if myself and Chris are in the box together. So only half chance tonight that we'll commentate a curse Daniel Cicluna at this stage, but whew, he is looking quick. That car is hooked up something chronic, and he is flying. 203.3s, 202.98, if you don't mind, is his best lap, which is the fastest lap of the race so far, with a large amount of fuel on board, I would presume, here in the Bathurst 1.5 hour so far. These guys are not letting go of each other, though. If anyone's on par with each other, it is Kim and Harley at this stage. Those two have not let go of each other for any stretch of the imagination here in the last 28 minutes or so, 18 minutes or so, ladies and gentlemen, of racing. And it's just a sight to behold. We've got that Lamborghini behind is screaming. That Nissan Skyline with its V6 turbo engine. It does sound good. It's actually a cracking sounding car, if you don't mind. He's coming into the pits just as we get onto him. He's coming in for his first stop. So we are circulating now, and this will be a beautiful sight to see because 11 laps in and we've got one of our guys pitting already. So I wonder if this is for a strategy or not. So we'll see what happens here in the pit department as Kim comes in we can't actually get him on the outside because it just does not let us do that on the track mod. So we'll see how quick his pit stop is. He's already been in there for 22 seconds or so on lap 11. So let's see where this will put him and what his fuel load will be. It's nearly 30 seconds now. Let's see where this will get him out in the grand scheme of things. It's a long pit stop, if you don't mind. He's sitting there for a while, and I'm assuming that is because fuel is getting done and he's away. So he'll be in the pits for around 47 seconds nearly, and that will put him into 9th position for now, but he is back on track. When is everyone else going to pit? That is the question that we will be looking for. Is Harley Marshall going to pit soon? Is Two Dogs going to come through himself in that screaming V10? I'm not sure. But 2033s versus 2037s. So those tyres are starting to drop off a little bit, as are Daniel Cicluna's too. He's lost about 4/10 of a second, nearly half a second now on his lap. So I think by the time we get through these tyres are just starting to come off on these GT3 cars, and it's nearly time for the deficit to just sort of peter out a little bit for the racers to make a decision on whether they are going to pit, how much fuel they're going to put on board, and whether that is going to be one of those things where race strategy comes into play in the latter stages of this race. So everyone's just sort of petered out a little bit. Our closest battle on track here is between Vladimir and our man from AK Racing, Brandon Pierce. Now, it's interesting to see because this is McLaren versus Audi, and Monster Energy versus, I would say, I don't even know what that is. I can't even see his livery. But we'll find out at Phoenix Racing nonetheless. And these guys have not let go of each other because Brandon Pierce just put in his best lap of the race, which was a 2:03.8, and Dravelmir's was a 2:03.4. So there's half a second, if you don't mind, between these two drivers having a good crack around here at Mount Panorama. And no one's come into the pits as of yet, apart from Kim Weggett. So maybe an early stop strategy for him. He's going to go a long run for the next stint of pit stops, and that might put him back effectively in a podium position at the end of the race, but we will find out soon. Nonetheless, what's going on in YouTube land out there? We've seen a couple of people have a good crack out there, and it's one of those things where you think to yourself, well, yeah, could be anyone's race. We're only an hour and 9 minutes left, and that's nearly at the third of the way mark in just under 10 minutes time. But geez Louise, it's too early to call. It's just way too early to call. There's no point in even calling anything at the moment. If you are a punting man though, you could have this guy, Jesse Marshall, in for a dark horse for maybe a top 10, if not a top 5 here, because he is doing some cracking stuff here on the race department. And he is circulating, and he will go in for the pits and come out about 45 seconds for himself. So that is lap 12 and a pit for Jesse Marshall in the Corvette. And we'll see where this puts him on track when all the pit stops come to fruition. Is this man coming into the pits? He is. So in comes Daniel Cicluna, a race leader, ladies and gentlemen, is in the pits. And he will be coming in now. This will be lap 13 for him. And we'll see where this puts him in the grand scheme of things. I'm sure that it's going to be a quick stop. I think a lot of people are doing the long run, and he enters his pit box just perfectly there, gets it done. The pit board man comes down and does his best, and in behind him, if you don't mind, is Harley Marshall too. So these guys are in a pit stop battle here. Has someone under fueled? Has someone done the same strategy as each other? Who knows what's going to happen here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll stick on board because we'll see where Harley Marshall comes out in the grand scheme of things. Where is his BWT Mercedes-Benz going to come out? Scuzz is gone. And only about 3 seconds behind him is Harley Marshall. So Harley Marshall's pit was a 42.2. Scuzz was about a 42.3 from that estimate as well. So those guys have come out up Mountain Straight, and they're about 4 and a bit seconds between each other, which was the same amount of time before they pitted, or thereabouts. But Matt Double, he is also just pitted too. So These guys are all on the same strategy here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see where it puts in at the end of the race, but it's one of those things. I think all the leaders know where they're going to sit, but look at all these people. We've got Lachlan Grant in the pits. We've got shock absorber in the pits. We've got the windscreen in the pits. We've got the windscreen man in the pits as well, and Eamon in the pits as well too there. So let's look at the Malaysian Marvel. That's my nickname for him. I finally come up with one, and that is Munro. He's out. He's done. So he is also out as well. So Toby Munro for lap 13 on his account. Then we've got Lachlan Grant for lap 13 as well. O'Brien for lap 13. Jeez Louise, it's all happening here. And the Malaysian Marvel as well. He has come in on lap 13 for his pit stop too. So we're all filtering out here, ladies and gentlemen. The top 10 is a bit mixed up. Brian McFadden's cousin, though, leading the race, if you don't mind. 21.5 seconds in front. That won't be enough to keep the lead for him. So he's coming in a lap later. So maybe an overcut strategy for him. But we'll see where this puts him in the grand scheme of things. If it's about 40 odd seconds in the pits, and that gap between himself and Scicluna is now only 18 now, 17 now, probably 16 seconds, I would say. He's got about 22 more to go, and there goes Scuzz. So Scuzz has gone through for the lead of the race. McFadden's given up first. He'll probably give up second as well. What has happened to Harley Marshall? Has he come into the pits again? He has. Harley Marshall has had a drive-through pit penalty, ladies and gentlemen, for speeding in the pit lane. That is disaster for himself, and he's fighting himself right next to Kim Weckett as well. Oh, this is a battle for the ages, ladies and gentlemen, as we come up the mountain straight. Who is going to blink first as we come into the braking marker for Quarry Bend? Let's see who does so. I think Kim Weckett's got the up. Yes, he does. He's definitely got the advantage there, and slots straight up the inside. Beautiful move there by Kim Weckett on Harley Marshall. That is disaster for Harley Marshall because he was in second, and now he's had to relinquish that position for fourth. You don't want to see that too often, and speed in the pit lanes, that's for sure. So that is third position and the podium at this stage with 1 hour and 4 minutes to go at this Bathurst 1.5 hour, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen. Third and fourth position only split by 0.4 of a second. So it's line astern here. We've got a bit of a lap traffic coming up here. That is Logan Ray in front of them. And he is not getting out of the way here at all for all the blue flaggers. You can see him here just holding up everyone, maybe giving everyone a suck. Now he gets out of the way of Kim and Harley. And those two gentlemen will be howling on the radio. Just get him out of the way if you can. And he's done so. But Harley Marshall's got a bit of a suck down the straight there after all those shenanigans. And that's allowed him to get up onto the back of Kim Weckett again. So we'll see what's going on. He's just doing the left to right sort of advantage, distraction in the mirror sort of esque move there. Shane Van Gisbergen style for Harley Marshall to get into the third position. He's not going to be an easy job, I would say. Kim is a offensive and a defensive driver, sort of an all-rounder in that department, and that Skyline looks quick. So Harley Marshall will be relenting that pit lane drive-through penalty there for speeding. One of those things where you just think to yourself, how the hell did I do that? But it ends up being one of those things, and that's rotor racing, ladies and gentlemen. But these guys are the closest battle on track at the moment. And we'll stick on board here with Harley Marshall to see what he does. Bit of a slide there from Kim as he negotiated himself literally through the cutting there. That was some scary four-wheel drifting moment there by himself. But a good view here of the car behaviour and the strengths and the weaknesses of each driver and the cars over the top of the mountain as we literally come through McPhillamy into Skyline here across the mountain. It's a beautiful view down into the valley there as too. Oh my goodness gracious me. Kim is just sliding that thing Tokyo Drift style around and through the S's. I just don't know how he's keeping it together, but that is a car on the edge. And mind you, look at that front wiggling around if you don't mind. He is pushing to the max here. Harley Marshall will probably be half crapping himself looking at that car behaviour in front, thinking, geez, if he hits that wall, I'm coming with him because he'll just come straight back in front of me. But nothing to worry about on that lap at this point in time of the race, because Harley Marshall and Kim are locked in a battle here for the final podium position places. We've got a long way to go, ladies and gentlemen, but geez. And that is Kim nearly going wide again. Four-wheel drifting. Oh, geez. That is as close to the edge as you want, Lady Gaga style. And that is some fantastic driving. It's good to have a loose car, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the problem you have when you have a loose car. That can go all wrong in just half a second. And that is going to promote Harley Marshall up into third position here. He's going to go straight down the inside into Hell Corner. And that is third position there for Harley Marshall. An unforced error there by Kim Weckett. And that has cost him a place. But now there's a reverse suckage down the straight. Sydney will be very jealous here. The King's Cross ladies of the night will definitely be upset about this sort of suckage here on track. More action than they get. And who's going to yield first? No one does. But Kim has become the secondary of that battle and had to yield because he was on the dirty side of the track. And Harley Marshall has got through, ladies and gentlemen. Just as we speak, his brother in Jesse Marshall has just got past down Conrad, if you don't mind, by the Malaysian Marvel himself in Iman. And that is a drag race and a half there by the two. None of them are giving each other any room whatsoever. That Corvette is right underneath that BMW M4 as the Malaysian Marvel's gone off. And that is it for him. Jesse Marshall's gone straight past him. Thank you very much, Mother, for the rabbits. I'm taking that 11th position straight off you again. And now the Malaysian Marvel will have to collect his thoughts, get that rhythm back, and have another good crack when he comes around for another circulation here at Mount Panorama to see where he can improve and where he can not go off the track, so to speak, because Jesse Marshall was putting the pressure on him, that's for sure, down Conrad, enforced the error, and he got the position back. So 11th and 12th battle there is happening. Speaking of battling, Jason McFadden has come a propper. My goodness gracious me, Logan Ray's nearly yeeted into him, and this is a treacherous position to be on the track, pointing the wrong way. He's selecting first and reverse like there is no tomorrow. He'll be as nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. And he's just got going again before anyone came around. He had a fair gap to the suspension behind him in Munro, the shock absorber. But geez Louise, that was hairy stuff. I'm assuming that amount of wall tapping wouldn't have been kind to the front splitter on that car of Jason McFadden's car. Has he got any steering damage from all those shenanigans? No, it does not look like it. So just aero damage for Brian's cousin at this stage. Geez, you don't want to do that too many times here around Mount Panorama. It will bite you and bite you hard if you hit those walls. So we'll keep an eye on him for later in the race. Hopefully he gets around. Oh, yep, he does. He negotiates the chase very, very well. And that car looks planted once again. So keep your head down, Jason. We're cheering for you here at AK Racing as well. Speaking of cheering, Two Dogs having a fantastic time out there at the moment in that gold Hurricane. And it's looking racy. It's only 4.7 seconds between himself and the Rocket himself, Daniel Scuzz Cicluna. It's one of those things where anything can happen and lap traffic can come into it, because I have a feeling that is... No, it is not. I'm trying to think. There was a Porsche, and that is Sinai in front of Matt Double, nearly yeeting it into the wall. And Matt Double's going to have to be careful here. There's some erratic driving going on here by the 15th position Sinai, and he won't be wanting to hang around too much, is Matt Double, to clear him and press on with the race. He's got some great suckage down the Conrad Straight, and he's just sailing past him here quicker than Captain Cook trying to get to Australia. I'll give you the hot tip. But that is clear, and Matt Double has now gained a lap on Sinai for now. Anyway, but that has hurt his gap nonetheless. You can see there 5.4 seconds. It was 4.1. So second and a half basically just by negotiating lap traffic there. Crucial, ladies and gentlemen, to get around them at the right time. But sometimes they're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And if you don't mind, it's one of those things where you just start spewing when you see a traffic car or a blue flagger at the top of the mountain, because there's no way to get past them unless they're too nice to you and get out of the way. And speaking of getting out of the way, the Malaysian Marvel is having a good dip here at Jesse Marshall again. I said to you he needed to collect his thoughts and come back within about 3 or 4 laps time, and that is what happened here, ladies and gentlemen. Jesse Marshall under all sorts of pressure here by the Malaysian Marvel himself, and that will be a battle to behold, I reckon, if nothing happens. But Lachlan Grant is now getting a suck down Conrod. Lachlan Grant, we haven't called him much tonight. He's been hanging around there in 9th, 10th position in the purple Aston Martin, and he's hounding the back of the R8 of the suspension shock absorber man himself in Mr. Monroe, or Monroe, if that's how you pronounce it. Monroe shock absorbers, if you don't mind. I'm surprised he hasn't got that livery hanging around his car, but nonetheless, Lachlan Grant is having a good time, and he's wanting to gain some positions back here to represent AK Racing, get somewhere up there in the top 5, I would say, because we are under an hour until the race has finished, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see where the hell everyone ends up at the end of the race, because it's not over until that checkered flag waves, and anything can happen. And if excuse the politically incorrect statement coming up, it's not over until the fat lady sings Rex Hunt style. We'll see what happens here, because Lachlan Grant is pressure pointing the shock absorber. He is at full travel width distance at the moment. Here's the shock absorber, that rebound and that preload, or whatever you want to call it, preload, rebound. It is all happening. Spring tension, spring load, whatever. He's getting a load of that at the moment from Lachlan Grant at this stage, all across the top of the mountain. He is hounding the back of that Audi R8 in the Aston Martin. It's a cool looking livery of that in the purple. As I said in qualifying, love any purple on a race car, just a bit more edgy. And Lachlan Grant's negotiating through the S's beautifully as he comes down now into Forest Elbow. And will there be a bit of suckage? Not if that happens. Lachlan Grant has gone wide, nearly hit the wall there. He's held it together, thank goodness gracious me. That was nearly disaster for Lachlan Grant. Oh, geez Louise, that was close. But he's come out of it unscathed, but that has released the shock absorber, and now that full compression of the spring travel has just been released a little bit off Munro himself, and he will be thinking, thank goodness gracious me, I'm a bit more consistent at this moment than Lachlan Grant, because I was nearly at my full travel distance. It's incredible to watch. Incredible to watch. GT3 Cars cycling around Bathurst, and the timing of all this is just fantastic. We started in the day in the darkness, and then came into the beautiful sunrise, and now are in the perfect time of the day for cars to really grip and rip, as they say. Around the circuit, those tyres will be right up in their maximum pressure range and their also workability. And these guys will want to be put out some quick laps, but not if anything happens between them in the race that's going to be a bit, I guess, untowards to their momentum. But again, you can see Lachlan Grant has just pulled that gap back. It was 1.1 or 2 seconds about a kilometre and a half ago, and now it's only 0.6. So the strength of that Aston Martin is clearly across the top of the mountain here. He is flying. That R8 is braking mid-corner not to hit the outside. Holy cowabunga. That was scary stuff through the cutting. And then you've basically got Reed Park, Sorman Park to negotiate. Then we're into McPhillamy here as we come over into Skyline. And Lachlan Grant is hounding the back of that Audi R8. He is all over him like a fly to a piece of poo. At this stage is that Audi R8. That Aston Martin is looking racy in this mid-stint of the race. We're just over a third of the way gone, ladies and gentlemen. Come out to 2/3 in about 28 minutes or so. And it just looks like Lachlan Grant is experiencing some sort of net coating there between himself and Munro, but he has got a suck and a half, and that is job done. Ladies and gentlemen, have a look at the speed difference there between Munro and Lachlan Grant. And he has gone wide as Munro checking out all the suspension travels of his car in that Audi R8. But Lachlan Grant nonetheless has got the job done, and that is 8th position for himself. He will be looking to press onwards and hopefully catch that 10.5 second gap to himself and Brian's cousin up in front. And himself in Brian's cousin has got a bloody long way between himself and Brandon Pierce in 6th position, 25 seconds or so. Basically about a pit stop, nearly half a pit stop, or even just over half a pit stop of distance between himself and Brandon Pierce at this stage of the race. So that AMG is looking fantastic. Brandon Pierce is in the Monster Energy McLaren, and he's representing AK Racing tonight. And it's good to see him out there. He's a valued member of AK Racing, and we love having him around. He is the maestro when it comes to liveries and some track editing. You can thank himself for the beautiful looking track tonight with GT Club and AK Racing sponsorship and Sensational TV, if you don't mind, around and about on the Mount Panorama circuit. It's good to see. We love him, but we're just at that point, ladies and gentlemen, where there always is a bit of a lull halfway through a race, or just under halfway. And I'd love to hear from you on the YouTube channel to see where we predict your fellow compatriots are going to go. If you're at GT Club, give us a shout out, give us your man. If you're at AK Racing, give us your man and see who's going to win, because just at this point in time, yeah, it's 8 seconds between Scicluna and Two Dogs, but anything can happen, and it's just going to be one of those things. Where do we think other people are going to go? Is it going to be a race winner for Scicluna after dominating so far, or is it going to be a strategic battle till the end? Is Matt Double going to come through in that beautiful gold? Matt Gold, if you don't mind, Hurricane through there, and he's literally just flying at the moment. It's a good car, and it sounds really good as well. Well, we're going to see Harley Marshall negotiate his way through some lap traffic here and stick with 3rd position. That blue flagger needs to get the hell out of the way, and quick smart, because Weckett is still behind him with only 1 second between himself and Marshall. Where is Kim at this point in time? He's going to have to wait until the S's are over to get past that M4 competition. Nearly goes in the back, hits the wall at the same time. That is not going to help his cause as the blue flagger just gets out of the way now, but that has hurt his gap. He's lost a second already, just within 3 corners, trying to negotiate around that M4 competition, and that he won't be too happy about that. Oh, I reckon that was Whiteman. It was Whiteman, and unfortunately at the top of the mountain there and coming through, there is just nowhere to get out of the way. It's just unfortunate timing, and that's what racing is all about, ladies and gentlemen. But there again, you can see that BMW is out of the way, and that Nissan is slippery in a straight line. He's already gained 0.4 of a second, if you don't mind, on Conrod Straight, between 2.1 seconds to 1.8 now. That's nearly half a second just in the straight. So a low downforce setting for the Nissan Skyline versus Harley Marshall's gripped up and downforced up AMG GT3 Coupe. That is a long bonnet on his car, that's for sure. Center of gravity is 50-50 on that car. Weight distribution is 55-45, which makes no sense whatsoever, but you can Google it to see if it is that. But that is how it looks at this point in time for everyone else in Sundry at this stage. So we'll keep an eye on proceedings at this stage, and we'll see where it is, because these two are the closest battle on track. We've got a couple of people DNFing. Not good to see. McDonald's is gone. Nudge is gone, and Logan Ray has decided to hang the boots up and just disappear into Narnia. We've still got 47 minutes to go, gents. Like, by jingos, anything can happen. It is motorsport after all. But that is going to promote Simon Levitt in the Jaguar up into 16th position, so he'll be happy with this. He's a lap down at this stage between himself and Sinai, but Sinai has come through with a pit stop, so he's in now, and he'll come out about 45 seconds in the pit stop, so that is a long way in front of everyone else. That is 22 laps, so he's put some fuel on for sure, but we'll see where it goes, see where it happens on that sort of behaviour there. Still, closest battle on track is between 4th and 3rd, and it is interesting to watch. But with all this battling, Vladimir has come straight into it in Drav. I know his real nickname, ladies and gentlemen. I just love to have a good crack at all these different drivers at this stage. And he is a genuine good guy. He is the man out of everyone in GT Club. He makes all this happen as well as so does Specky K too. And it's interesting to see, but I reckon Drav is going to be somewhere up there by the end of this race. He's a dark horse as well. And that's where we'll see as who is that in the pits? Is that who I think is in the pits? It is. Kim Weckett's in the pits. He's making his second stop now. So we'll see where this puts him. He's been 18 seconds he was stationary, and we'll see where this puts him as he comes out. This is interesting because that is only 12 laps after he pitted the first time. So he pitted on lap 11, and now he is pitting on lap 23. So he is not stationary for as long as before. Only 39 seconds, so it was 45 seconds prior. He's 6 seconds quicker on the pit, so maybe a fuel load change here for Kim in the Skyline. So this could play differently into himself and Harley Marshall, because those two are the guys who are battling for position now. What is Harley Marshall going to do? Is he going to react? Well, he's going to have to, because he's getting held up right now by the angry insect in BL. And he won't be too happy about this, because this is hampering his lap time something chronic. 2 seconds down on his best, and BL just gets out of the way straight away. So that should release him a little bit, but it still has not replenished any of the time that he thought he was going to get at this stage of the race. And is Harley Marshall going to react? We're only going to find out in about a kilometre's time, and we'll see where this puts him in the grand scheme of things. Just right on board with Kim Weckett and see where it ends up for him. And is Harley Marshall going to pit? We'll find out in about, I reckon, 15 seconds time at this stage. So Harley Marshall has gone around again, ladies and gentlemen. He hasn't pitted. He hasn't reacted to Kim Weckett. And if that's anything to go by, Harley Marshall's last pit stop was 2 laps after Kim's. So it was lap 11 versus lap 13. And I would say that follow suit maybe for now. Maybe for now will be Harley Marshall. But if anything's to go off, last lap was a 2:35, obviously, for a pit stop. So within the next sequence, we'll see where this puts him up in the lap relative department, because he's bang on his personal best at this moment is Kim Weckett in that Skyline. You can see there on the bottom right corner of your screen, you've got the split delta differences there. So he's bang on. He's only half a tenth away from his best, if not just a tenth. As he negotiates his way around the track. It's just fantastic to watch. These cars behave and grip so well. That Skyline is a good looking car nonetheless. So we come over the Great and then basically into Sulman Park, over into McPhillamy here. Gripped up and ready to rip. He's only a tenth and a bit off his best time. So that pace is relative, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be one of those things. Does Harley Marshall react? What's his strategic call there? Has he got any help from his brother? Sitting there looking around going, mate, just pit now, because your old compatriot Kim Weckett pitted about a lap ago, and he's lapping quick. 2:03.8 at this stage for Harley Marshall. What's it going to be? A 2:04 dead, basically. 2:03.977 for himself. Where is this going to put Kim Weckett? It's going to put him, at least at this stage, I reckon, about, by the time we get around the corners, maybe half a second difference between himself and Harley Marshall, and that is in the advantage of Kim Weckett, but not if he goes off the track like that. Commentator curse number 1 tonight for him, and 2:03.4s, 2:03.5s, it's creeping up and up and up and up. That was half a second, and now it's only a tenth between himself and Harley Marshall. So Harley Marshall won't know that. He won't know that. 2:03.9 versus 2:03.5. Oh, well, I was wrong there. That's half a second again. So, here we go. This is the battle of the maths. Now, if we look at our time split, ladies and gentlemen, is 1.7 seconds, then another 22.5 seconds, so that would make it 24.2 seconds, and then you've got another 7 seconds between Pierce and Kim Weckett, so you're looking at about 30 odd seconds here at this stage between the two of them, and Harley Marshall is going to get done here by Kim Weckett if those lap times and those deltas are correct. If Harley Marshall doesn't come and pit in soon, it's going to be on like Donkey Kong. And I think Harley Marshall would love a podium position at this stage. So we'll see where he is going to pit. I think it would be this lap, but we'll find out because he's over 7/10, near 3/4 of a second down on his best. So those tyres are singing to the high heavens to get off the car. For now, speaking of getting off the car, this guy's getting off the circuit just as I thought he would be. Our race leader is in. So he's in on lap 25. And this could be another quick pit stop as well. Under sub 40 seconds is a quick pit stop. So we'll see where this puts Daniel Cicluna in the grand scheme of things. Is Matt Double going to follow him in? Yes, he is. Matt Double is in the pits as well. So first and second are in the pits. Here's Daniel Cicluna. So he's going to have a good crack here. He's 20 seconds stationary now. Where is this going to put him? Matt Double's just pulled in behind him. You can see that there in the rear view screen, if you don't mind. And Harley Marshall's just come in as well. And here goes Scuzz. So he's in 41 seconds in the pits, ladies and gentlemen. And he's released. So he's still in the lead of this race. Harley Marshall is still stationary. Matt Double has come through. So Matt Double was about 42 seconds in the pits. And Harley Marshall has come out as well. So he was about 44 seconds in the pits as well. And guess who's in front of him? His own brother is going to give him the suck down the straight and gets out of the way kindly. Says thank you very much. Those two will be in the chat together having a good crack at each other. But Jesse Marshall will find himself unlapped at some stage of this race when it all happens. But Kim Weckett has jumped Harley Marshall, ladies and gentlemen. That is the story, and I told you it was going to happen. Harley Marshall's just left it too little too late, I would say, even with the 3 seconds shorter pit stop than his last go. It has turned the tables on the podium position. So Kim has undercut and undercut well. Very well done there, sir. That is some good racing by yourself. Harley Marshall's tyres are still cold, if you don't mind. And he is sliding all over the place like an igloo. So is his brother too. One by one, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Noah's Ark. The animals go marching. And that was very genetic-esque, if you don't mind me saying that, between the two of them. Monkey see, monkey do sort of stuff. But Harley Marshall is only 1.0 seconds and within striking distance. If that M4 gets out of the way quickly, nearly just gets negotiated himself around. That's cost him half a second or so between himself and Chris Wegger. But that is a cracking event. Oh, an event, a set of circumstances, if you don't mind. So only 1.5 seconds between Matt Double, Kim Weckett, and Harley Marshall. That is something to behold. I wonder if Matt Double's got the pace advantage on Kim Weckett, and has Harley Marshall got the advantage on Kim himself? So we'll find out very, very shortly. Once these tyres all come up to temperature, they all pitted all on the same lap, if you don't mind. Oh no, Matt Double did it before. These two did, but we'll see how we go. I don't know what's going to happen here. Something sort of brewing here, I reckon. Someone's got to blink at some stage. And if anyone, it looks like Kim is advancing to the back of Matt Double, 2 dogs. And Marshall is just petering there at 1.5 seconds at this stage. Drav is having a good crack. Nonetheless, he is having a good crack. So good to see him up there. Jesse Marshall gets out of the way of him. And across comes Drav. And he will be wanting to advance himself further up the positions. In 5th at the moment It's been a good race for him. Been consistent, been very well done. So he's just had a pit as well himself. So he came in on about lap 26, I would say, to pit, and he's found himself in 5th position. So a good drive so far from himself. Brandon Pierce, 25 seconds across. Here is Jason McFadden in the pits on lap 27, if you don't mind. So he has gone 13 laps, and that's about where we're sort of sitting, where all these tyres are lasting. We can see that they're sort of lasting that 12 to 14 laps sort of thing before anyone comes in. So if you do the quick math, 2 minutes times 14 is about 28 minutes. So you would say that at I would say the 5-minute mark or the 6-minute mark would be the latest of this race by the time we next come around for our last pit stop by all these GT3 cars here around Mount Panorama for the last and final run on some new tyres, and no prisoners taken, I would say, because those tyres are definitely going to last the journey as the windscreen comes out for his pit stop as well. That was a quick pit stop, 15.7 seconds. I don't know if that is correct, but we'll take his pit strategy, and he was 15 laps on the same set of tyres there. So well done to himself. And Henry Ford's great grandson in Ryan is now out and about. 42 seconds in the pit stop for him. So Mr. Ford is on his charge, and he will find himself now coming into the pits with about 8 minutes to go, I would say, in this race, to see if he can light fuel himself and get some qualifying laps in to finish this race. But speaking of finishing, what is going on here? Kim and Matt Double, Two Dogs, are in the battle of a lifetime here at this stage. There is nothing between these lot. It was 1.5 seconds each about a lap and a half ago, and now it is within half a second of everyone. And Matt Double, Two Dogs, is getting held up here by some lap traffic. That Honda wants to get out of the way very, very quickly, does the Angry Insect. He's holding everyone up here. That is bunched the pack up. That is bunched the whole pack up for now. And by jingos, that is some hairy stuff. Kim is all over the back there with Matt Double. This is all happening. 34 minutes left in the race, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a battle here for 2nd and 3rd and 4th. And Kim is not giving go. He's tapped. He's tapped Double. Double nearly yeeted it into the wall. And oh, that was so close to disaster. Everyone's redressed the position correctly. But my goodness gracious me, now there's going to be a suck and a half down the straight. Harley Marshall's going to get the biggest advantage out of this. He's going to get the double suck down the straight if he's going to do anything about it. He has got some top speed in that AMG. It is quick around here. He's going to go around the outside of Matt Double. Matt Double's lost 2 positions in 2 corners. Is Kim going to get stopped? No, he just gets a stop there. But Harley Marshall is now around the outside. I would say yes, he is coming in to the final corner, and that is going to be Murray's battle for sure. What is going to happen here? Is Harley going to dip it in? Oh, just he's touched. He is touched, and Kim has relented 3rd position. Matt Double's gone straight past him as well. That would be one for the replays if we could do that here on Assetto Corsa, but we can't. Did Kim get a tap on the outside? I'm not sure, but it's weird if he did, because that contact would have yeeted him to the right-hand side of the track, not to the left like it did. But, oh, geez, Harley Marshall has gone from 4th to 2nd, and now Kim's got the angry pants on. He is not giving this position up lightly. He wants 3rd back on the thing. Matt Double's having nothing to do with that. He's parking it right in the right places. Kim Weckett is on fire here in his head, I can tell you that. Not so much on the track department. He will be ruining that opportunity from 2nd to 4th in not even half a lap. Not even half a lap, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, animals of all ages. And this battle is well and truly on. 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Look at this. Where do you find it? Where do you get it? You can't get it anywhere else. You just cannot. GT Club AK Racing. It's a place to be. Bathurst 12 hour in 1.5 hours. You just can't bother. And that is Kim. He has hit the wall again, and he is in trouble. He has just lost all his momentum and that speed out of that skyline. And he will be wanting to regather himself mentally very quickly, because those 2 cars in front of him, and Matt Double, Two Dogs, and the policeman, Harley Marshall, will be galloping off into the distance before he can even think about it. So look out, Kim. Get your head together, son. Get back on the train and make this interesting for everyone else. Because Harley Marshall now is just relenting himself and releasing that AMG GT3 out of the way, and hopefully clear Matt Double and keep that pace relativity in his own pocket. But I'll tell you what, that gold Hurricane is looking racy for sure, and it won't be a sight to miss. You can see it there in the rearview mirror. It's not a hard car to miss on track, especially when it's right behind you. That thing will be half blinding you as we come in, as Harley Marshall negotiates Hull Corner up Mountain Straight. 1.1 seconds between himself and Matt Double for now. What is going to happen here between these three? And I'll tell you what, Drav's been brought into this. He is dragging himself up into this. He was 2.5 seconds away from these three, and now he's only 1.2. So look out. Look out, Brussels Sprout. One of these guys blinks, ladies and gentlemen, and a position will change. If a heart rate gets too high or a braking marker gets missed by 10 metres, it will be all over for one of these gentlemen. That is the ups and downs of motorsport that we come to expect here. And Drav is doing a good job of just being consistent. 203.4s. 203.4s for him. 205.1s on the last lap for Kim Weckett. 204.1 for Matt Double. And a 203.4 for Harley Marshall. That was a shocker for him. So he will be wanting to get back up to where he wants to be. He is only 0.6 seconds, 0.06 seconds if I should pronounce it correctly, off his best time at this stage. So he's pushing that Mercedes-Benz to no end. And that is a gap there, ladies and gentlemen, behind himself and Matt Double, two dogs, for third position. The final position on the podium with under a third of the race to go. We have just clicked over into under half an hour here at Mount Panorama as the sun starts to creep just a little bit lower as into the skyline, as we see as the weather produces all kinds of different scenarios and lighting effects here at Mount Panorama. And Harley Marshall's got about a 1.4 second gap between himself and two dogs, and Weckett and Drav are all hoping to get somewhere up into this battle for third, for the final position. Now, all those guys will be having, I guess, sweaty underarms, sweaty hands, sweaty helmets, whatever they do. Sure, there's fans going in their sim rigs at this point in time, but no relent and no giving up by any of them at this stage. It's just been great racing here at the GT Club AK Racing Bathurst. 12 hour and 1.5 hours. I've enjoyed it so far. It has been a cracking race, and the standout is just this guy. We haven't caught him much, but he needs no calling. When you're a perfectionist and you're just doing exactly what you're designed to do, race around Bathurst in a Mustang and get that car hooked up literally like glue to the road, then there's no other person to go to than Daniel Scuzzacuna, the missile himself. And just consistently lapping at 203.4s, like, where do you find him? You just can't find him anywhere else, ladies and gentlemen. Ask yourself that. Where do you find that sort of quality? But yeah, it's just incredible. It's just incredible. Well done to himself, and hopefully he can have a good crack here for the race win, because at this stage it's looking unlikely that anyone is going to challenge him. The pace advantage was there in qualifying, and it is here in the race setup as well. And that Mustang is looking very racy, if I don't say so myself. Black and gold and a bit of silver there. It's a hot looking Mustang, and he's got it hooked up like glue to a hot gun, for sure. Well done to you, sir. Let's have a look. Whilst Harley Marshall is under a bit of pressure here, why don't we just listen to a lap with himself? Turn up your volume, ladies and gentlemen, again, and listen to this AMG just scream down basically up Mountain Straight, as we go for a lap here with Harley Marshall to see where he sits in the grand scheme of things in the driver department. 2:03.086, his best lap of the race. What an absolute barnstormer of a lap there from the one Harley Marshall. Something to behold here. That screaming V8 of that AMG AMG Mercedes is fantastic to hear and listen to. And that car looked very, very planted up the road. And he's extended that gap by a long way to Two Dogs. 3.2 seconds between himself and Two Dogs there. And speaking of which, we're going to flick this battle because Drav has got past Kim Weckett. Kim Weckett has come a proper and he is out. Kim Weckett's gone. A disconnection issue there for Kim Weckett. He is out of the race. And that has promoted Drav into 4th position. Oh, that is the joys of internet, ladies and gentlemen, I would say there at this stage. Oh, my goodness gracious me. What the hell happened to Kim? That was something we were not expecting here in the racing department. I'm shocked. I've got no words. I've got absolutely no words there. I don't know what the hell is happening there by himself, if that is something. But he is DNF nonetheless. You can see that big DNF sign. Hopefully he can come back and rail some positions back into the Bathurst 12-hour and 1.5 hours. But that is unfortunate for Kim Weckett. I keep calling him Chris. I don't know why. I must be missing my co-commentator. But that is Matt Double in the podium position. So that Hurricane is flying now. And I think that'll give him some motivation to catch up to Harley Marshall, because 3.5 seconds here is not an easy feat with some lap traffic in front of him. Probably going to come at the wrong time as well. Probably halfway through the lap up the top of the mountain. And I don't think Matt Double is going to be too happy if he gets across a lap traffic impeder. But we'll see what happens here. Simon Levitt, we haven't seen him much in the Jaguar, but he is just circulating well. You might be down in 15th position, ladies and gentlemen, but don't let that deter you from a great time around here at Mount Panorama. Any lap time in any sim racing league or game is valuable. And if you are new to it, or if you're old to it, or you've just started, doesn't matter what age you are, the more laps you get under your belt, I'll tell you what, it is so beneficial. And Simon is just the perfect example of this at this stage. He is flying along in his Jaguar, just loving every moment here around Mount Panorama in the Jaguar Racing livery, if you don't mind. That is a cracking livery. British Racing Green, if you don't mind, matted out. Looks very, very classy. And that is the only Jaguar on stage representing Britain here at this point in time. Well done to you, sir. Where's the shock absorber at? He's here. So he's coming through the S's now into the dipper. And he's just tapped the wall as he comes out. But I'll tell you what, he's doing well. He's in the top 10. Top 10 at Bathurst after an hour and 10 minutes of racing. You cannot complain at all. You cannot complain one bit. As Brian McFadden's cousin is now in the pits. So he's just come in. He's probably been stationary for about 2 seconds now. And this will basically put him in a position to get to the end, I would say, because we've got 13 laps and there's really only, with 21 minutes to go times 2, what's that? 11 minutes, or 11 laps, sorry. I reckon this is his last pit stop of the race. 32.2 seconds. And he's just found himself in a bit of clean air between himself and Lachlan Grant, if you don't mind, as the homing missile himself just put in that 2:02.8, just to add insult to injury for anyone behind him thinking they're going to catch him at the last final dying moments of this race with 21 minutes to go. I don't think that's going to happen unless disaster comes across the missile himself in Scuzz Cicluna. But geez Louise, if anything's going to happen here, it's going to happen as we speak, as Matt Double is now in the pits. So he's coming in. So he will stop now. And this is on lap 35. And he's just stopped now. So 17 seconds. He's been about there for 4 seconds now. Stationary. We'll see where this puts him in the grand scheme of things. Guys are coming in with 20 minutes to go. So times that by about 9 laps, I would say, by the time we get to the final countdown clock. This is a longer stop for him, 36 seconds. He's going to come out at about 40 seconds out of the pits, 39.5, nearly there, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty good on the estimation there. So Matt Double is now out. and cleared the lap traffic behind him. So no blue flag issues for him with Jesse Marshall just sitting behind him there in the dinner for two Callaway Motorsports competition, whatever you want to call it, 69. It's a good time for anyone. It's past that time of night, ladies and gentlemen. We've just ticked across 9:31 here in Victoria. So the AK Racing rule and Sensational TV, along with GT Club rule, is past 9:30. Then we can launch some vulgar language if we see any battles at this stage. But nothing's happening because Matt Double is in fourth, but Drav is just circulating now, and he'll be on to Conrod Straight as we speak. And he's got a 30-second buffer between himself and Matt Double. So that probably won't be enough to get himself in front of Matt Double. So the undercut here for Two Dogs is going to work, I reckon, in favour of himself. And Drav will be looking for maybe a fourth position here to finish off the race, which is an incredible drive from himself, coming from the position that he qualified in. So we'll see where that puts him in the grand scheme of things. Is he pitting in now? I think he is. He's sticking to that side. No, he's not. Okay, he's going around one more time, Daft Punk style. And Drav is circulating again. Let's just keep an eye on his delta there, ladies and gentlemen, between himself and Matt Double. 30 seconds is the basis now, as Harley Marshall is in the pits. And he's just stopped. So he'll be coming out now. Let's see where this is relativity in the time frame sector. Will he be able to come out in front of Matt Double? That is the big question. Matt Double is now coming down into the final corner of the circuit, which would be Murray's Corner. And he is now circulating out across the front row. And I've just heard Harley Marshall take off into the distance. There he is. So Harley Marshall has cleared Matt Double by a fair margin, ladies and gentlemen. But Harley Marshall is on cold tyres, and Mountain Straight is a long way, and he is not swerving to warm up those tyres. So get some tyre temperature into those bloody things, Harley, for Christ's sake, because Matt Double will be coming at a rate of knots with some warm GT3 spec tyres on that Hurricane. It's going to be anyone's bet, but that has worked in his favour, something chronic. But in saying that, Drav is 25 seconds in front of Harley Marshall, and that will make it about 30 seconds in front of himself and Matt Double. So I still think fourth position is the best that Drav can expect at this stage, and he's only a tenth and a bit down on his best lap time, 2:03.8. Harley Marshall was a 2:03.5 for the last lap, but 2:03 dead for his best lap time, and Matt Double's best time is a 2:03.3. So where are we going to sit in all of this? What is going to happen? I'm not sure, but I tell you who is sure. This guy, the missile himself, he is flying around, and we have a lot of credit to be given to this guy at this stage of the race. 23 seconds up the road, if you don't mind. That's a flogging and a half around Bathurst. That is, a sight to behold. If you work it out per kilometre, 6.2 Ks around here, and he is 4 seconds in front per kilometre, basically in front of Drav. So, wowee, in the fair dinkum department, Scuzz is flying. And Drav goes around one more time, Daft Punk style. So, 25 seconds to him. The gap hasn't reduced in the Delta spec between himself and Harley Marshall or Matt Double. And in saying that, when is Pierce going to pit? I think he's going to pit soon. From my perspective, I don't think he's too far off pitting. But that is a McLaren doing its best to stay in the top 10, or top 5 really, at the least. Because Lachlan Grant is also on the same sort of strategy as him. I would say it was, what lap would that be? Lap 27 is when Lachlan Grant came in, and so did Brandon Pierce. So they've got about 3 more laps to go between them. But a 2:04.9 for Brandon Pierce versus a pit stop, or not, no, 2:04.7 for Lachlan Grant. So he's come down, basically down the main straight into our corner. And there's about 2/10 of an advantage there for himself, between himself and Pearso. But Pearso's a long way up the road, 5.9 seconds, 50, 50 seconds, 55 seconds between himself to anyone outside the top 10 at least. So a very, very good drive by Brandon Pierce here representing AK Racing. As is Lachlan Grant representing AK Racing. As is Jason McFadden representing AK Racing. So is Ian O'Brien, the windscreen. So is Ryan Ford. So is Jesse Marshall. And so is Scuzz and Harley Marshall as well. But look at this. Daniel Cicluna in the pits. And Drav has got past him. So Drav is effectively leading the race for the first time in an hour and 15 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Drav is now leading the race, if you don't mind. Now, he'll be enjoying it. He'll be enjoying it for sure, but it won't last long because he'll be coming into the pits shortly to take another pit stop with Scuzz only 8.9 seconds behind him. Scuzz will take effective lead of this race, but doesn't matter. Drav is doing well at this stage, and that Audi R8 is looking racy for sure. He might end up in 4th or 3rd position. Something comes a cropper there between Marshall and Double. Who knows? But a big gap there between Harley Marshall and Two Dogs himself. With, is that, who do I think? Oh, that was a lap traffic behind him. Sorry, I'm getting all excited here, thinking something. The yelling insect behind him has got out of the way, but Harley Marshall is 5.8 seconds up the road in 3rd position for the podium. So it looks like at this stage we're going to have AK Racing, and GT Club for our podium of the Bathurst 1.5 hours. And it's anyone's race. Still, it's not over until the fat lady sings, until that checkered flag comes out. Anything can happen. It is motorsport. Will we see a safety car? Will we see lap traffic getting in the way of one of the two compatriots in 2nd and 3rd position effectively in Marshall and Double? Could something else happen? That is why we love sim racing. That is why we love racing. Now, I just looked at the YouTube channel, and mind you, if you've loved the broadcast from myself so far and you think we're worthy of a like and a subscribe, please do so for Simsational TV. We are hoping to grow and expand ourselves outside the realms of Assetto Corsa and beyond, but never forgetting our GT Club and AK Racing guys. They are our main homies. But if you do love what you're hearing from myself, please give us a subscribe and a like, maybe even a comment on the live stream. Goes a long way for us, and we really appreciate it too. But I've just seen that our man, Kim Weckett, in the chat has said that his game crashed as harder as Chaz Mostert did in 2015 through the S's there, and that is the reason for his DNF. Nothing to do with internet, just a full Assetto Corsa meltdown. So an unfortunate situation for Kim. He was looking racy there, ladies and gentlemen, in that Skyline. Geez Louise, it was looser than a $2 hooker at some points around Mount Panorama Circuit there, but somehow he kept it together. And it was good to watch, but geez, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear, Kim. We're thinking about you. And that's the unfortunate thing about sim racing. If you don't crash out, your game crashes on you. And that's what happens sometimes here in sim racing land. But, nonetheless, be that as it may, Drav has pitted and found himself in 3rd. So, you know what they say in racing. As I said earlier, it's not over until the fat lady sings. And he is undercut Matt Double, and Harley Marshall's got past him. So Trav is just absolutely flying here. And this is a great result for him, being in the podium positions with a pit stop already done and only 10 minutes and 46 seconds to go. You just never know what's going to happen. And that is why we love enduro events here at Simsational TV. It's just so entertaining to watch. It's just beautiful to see what actually goes on in the strategy department, and Drav has just put up a fantastic result, but he's going to have to be looking in those rearview mirrors, I would say, in the next 4 or 5 minutes or so, because Two Dogs is hunting him down. 2.5 seconds down. It was 2.7. It's closing and closing. 2.5, 2.4, what is going to happen to himself and Drav by the end of this race. Scuzz is just missile himself. He hasn't let that gap get any further or any less than 15.4 seconds for a majority of this race. So that's just done and dusted at this stage, bar some absolute monumental disaster or a disconnection or a hardware failure. As we've seen already, he's got this one in the bag so far. Oh, it's happening. It's all happening. With only 9 minutes and 7 seconds to go, let's have a look at Mr. GT Club himself. Online here, I'm going to take a break from speaking for about a minute and a bit up until this point. And turn your volumes up, ladies and gentlemen, and listen to the lovely, lovely V10 of this Audi R8 around Mount Panorama. Drav nearly coming a cropper there. Just getting past some lap traffic. And I'll tell you what, Matt Double is doubling down, if you excuse the pun. And he's only half a second away from Drav. After all of that trial and tribulation of motorsport, now Drav has to go into defensive mode as Double just in the rearview mirror there nearly went Tokyo Drift style into the wall, if you don't mind, just pushing that Hurricane as hard as he can. This is Italian versus German engineering right now, ladies and gentlemen, and Aussies versus Aussies here in the GT3 at Mount Panorama. Whew, it's all happening here. It's 8/10 again now. Can Drav hold on for that final podium position here with 6 minutes and 40 seconds left in the race? This is the battle of the series and of the race so far. These guys are going to go hammer and tong at each other. What is Matt Double looking at as we see him down the straight? Let's have a look on board. Let's check out that Audi R8's car behaviour versus Double's Hurricane, and very, very nice exit from both of them there. Good apexes, but just close the gap ever so slightly there as we come into the final turn around Murray's Corner. And where is the advantage here? Just a bit of steering lock there, enough for the Hurricane to turn it in perfectly. And it is a 205.3 versus a 202.4. Lap traffic involved there for Drav. This will be interesting for the next lap to see where these two sit in the grand scheme of things on the pace department. Now only 6/10, just under the over the half a second mark here between Drav and Two Dogs. What is going to happen here? Are we going to see a late move? 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Nothing between these drivers at this stage. 6/10 of a second, if you don't mind. As we round... Oh, geez, I just can't even think what's going to happen here. Drav is going to have to basically just push for all his might and see where that ends. Come over into Reed Park here, into Sulman. Sulman's approaching right now, and he is all over the back of Drav. Only 2/10 now, and that is pushing that Hurricane to the edge and above, and is Matt Double off? Oh, he's off, and he nearly hit the wall. He recovered that somehow. That was close, and his tyres are dirtier than a $2 hooker, and he will have to be basically just nursing those tyres back to the grip department after getting all that dirt and rubble, and he is struggling big time, but that is released Drav all up to 1.4 seconds from 2/10 within 5 corners, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to go off there at Skyline coming out of McPhillamy. That hurt you big time, and that has released the shackles for Drav for the time being. Oh, by jingos, by G, by crikey. What do you do in sim racing? You just have to be, focused the whole time. There is not a blink around Mount Panorama. If you blink once, you nearly found yourself into the wall there at the other end of McPhillamy, as Two Dogs just basically found out. And that has released Drav. And is this going to be enough time for him to keep that third position? Or is Two Dogs going to be up the back all over Vladimir Putin by the end of the race? And that won't help him either. Going wide there at Hull Corner, up Mountain Straight, that's going to kill his momentum. You can see it went from 1.1 seconds up to 1.4, all within one straight with just an error running wide there. So it's very costly at this stage to do something like that. You don't want to be doing that too much there, Two Dogs. As he nails that apex again, so he's just found the rhythm back. He's focused again and got the rhythm into his brain for now to circulate one more lap around Mount Panorama here at Bathurst Racing. And that is a sight to behold. We'll have to come back to them in a moment. I love coming back to the leader because that car just looks gripped and ripped, or suited and booted if you're Snoop Dogg. And Scuzz is just driving the wheels off that Mustang tonight. He is representing Ford hard. He loves driving in a Falcon or the Mustang in the AK Racing V8 Supercar Series when he is there. And he is representing the Mustang well tonight. For sure, he's just 16.5 seconds if you don't mind. He's probably in cruise control mode at the moment, knowing that it's all job is all done. There's no lap traffic in front of him for the time being. And it's probably going to be race done and won for him at this stage. But very, 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 very fine performance here from Daniel Scuzz Cicluna. And he's hooking that car up beautifully. Speaking of very, 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 very good jobs, is Harley Marshall. He will be stoked at this point in time. He has just come off a podium here at AK Racing in the V8 Supercars last week. So he is finding some form here in the sim racing department. And it's good to see Harley Marshall up there and about. We've had a lot of speculation about him. He came out firing at AK Racing. We all watched him. He was a guy to watch, and a bit of practice and a bit of wheel time behind the Seto Corsa and in the sim rig. It's paying dividends, ladies and gentlemen. As I said way early in the stream, it's amazing what you can do with practice, because practice does make perfect. Once you get used to these cars and the physics and everything like that, it's a testament to himself. So he has done superbly here, sitting in second position. And that'll be a gallant effort for him on a Friday night here at GT Club and AK Racing. Dual event here. Sensational TV broadcasting. Yours truly, Zach O'Reilly, here in the commentary box. And Drav is now under pressure once more. It's under a second again. We've only got a minute and a bit to go. Where is Scuzz now on the lap? So Scuzz is coming around, so he will get around for one more lap. And will this be the final lap of the race coming up? We'll find out once the green flag is waved, but we're going to get back here to Matt Double. Let's ride on board with him and see where he sits in the grand scheme of things with Drav. Drav will be absolutely shitting himself right now in that Audi R8. He'll know that a third place is either do or die for by the time that we get around to the penultimate lap here at Mount Panorama. And Matt Double is coming hard and fast. It was 2 seconds, and now it's only 0.6. And that Hurricane is quick in a straight line, as is the Audi R8 too, if you don't mind. I think that mid-corner grip is really helping Matt Double at this stage compared to Drav. just a bit more camber or something, or ARBs are set up just a little bit stiffer on Drav's car, and I think Matt Double's softer car is making it work for him. But saying that, a lot of different driving styles for sure that makes all the difference here, as Drav just runs a little bit wide there on the apex, but gathers it up quickly, but that's killed his momentum a little bit. Coming down into the final corner, which is Murray's. And where is this going to put him? We're on the last lap of the race, ladies and gentlemen. Scuzz is all the way up Mountain Straight, so he's going to come through. We'll keep an eye on him. It's a 2:04.5 from Drav versus a 2:03.9 for Matt Double, two dogs. And this is a last lap battle for the final place on the podium here. We can't keep our... Gentlemen, we cannot keep our eyes off it. We've got to keep with them. We'll stick with these guys until Scuzz sort of rounds the last couple of corners, and give him the credit he deserves in the broadcast he deserves there for the win. There's been a dominating display from him, but Drav is under all sorts of pressure here. Matt Double is flying. 0.5 of a second, ladies and gentlemen, on the last lap of the race here for a 1.5 hour sprint, you would say, for an enduro at Bathurst in the GT3 Cars. What in God's name is going to happen here? I don't know. I'm scared. I'm a little bit scared. But that's what motor racing is about. Drav is pushing that Audi R8. So is Matt Double. Bit of a wide apex there for Drav. And that is giving Matt Double all the advantage he needs. Now he's going to be close enough down here if he can gather it through Skyline into the S's, into the dipper, to get a suck off Drav. This could be a final podium position here, ladies and gentlemen, for the last lap of the race between Matt Double and Drav Lemire. Who is going to get the job done? And Drav just runs wide. Matt Double's apexed well for the end. This is a suck advantage here. Hookers down at King Street in Sydney, eat your heart out. This could be the suck of the race. And Daniel Cicluna has just come across the line. He is going to go around one more time here for himself, and this will be the last lap of the race for him. But is Matt Double going to get overtaken? No. He is trying to fight Drav, and Drav's gone. Drav's given up the position. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a final podium position place here. Matt Double has gone around the outside trailer park girl style and taken over third position here off Drav for the penultimate lap of the race, if you don't mind. And Matt Double is in third. Wow. What an event. What an event. And Drav has just given up. He has fought the battle, and he knows that he is done. And Matt Double is going to take the podium off him on the penultimate lap of this race. Wowee. By G, by Jingo, by Crikey. We've got racing coming out of our arseholes here, ladies and gentlemen. But that is the move of the race for the final podium position here at GT Club AK Racing. Sensational TV, if you don't mind. And Matt Double has taken it so far, pending ultimate doom at some stage around here for the final lap of the race. Oh, you couldn't have picked any script better there for third position. And Drav has just dropped off to a second, so the pace difference was too much there. Oh, Matt Double nearly loses it coming across the top of Skyline out of McPhillamy. Oh my goodness gracious me. That is still risky, but he is pushing like no tomorrow, because he is already 1.3 seconds out in front, and he knows that it's all over for third position if you can keep it together. But speaking of keeping it together, this guy, the missile Scuzz, Daniel Cicluna, has absolutely dominated this whole race from start to finish, from sunlight to nearly sundown, and he will take the win here at the Bathurst, 12 hour and 1.5 hours. Well done to Daniel Cicluna. Absolutely dominating display there for himself. Harley Marshall gets around the lap traffic car to round into Murray's corner and come home in a gallant second position. He will be stoked with that. 2 podiums in a week. That is brilliant driving there from Harley Marshall. Well done to your son. Scuzz does some celebratory donuts. Matt Double is rounding the final corner here now to get that podium position for himself. After all of that, he comes through in third position. Wow, last lap battle there with Drav. That was something to behold there as well. Those two will be congratulating each other on the comms for sure. Third, fourth position, only split by 2.2 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Our fifth place position getter is going to be Brandon Pierce, AK Racing representing, and he will come through bearing some sort of timing tower differentiation there. I think that's having a hissy fit. He will come across into 5th position to round out the top 5 here at Bathurst for the 12 hours in 1.5 hours. What an absolute stellar result here from Brandon Pierce. He will be stoked as a goat. Right, rounds around Murray's corner, crosses the line now for a beautiful 5th position. He's happy with that, I can guarantee you. He'll be stoked with that. Brian's cousin comes around in 6th position. Well done to yourself, Jason McFadden. That'll keep Brian happy for the ARIA charts. Lachlan Grant in 7th. Ivan in 8th. That is a very good race from the Malaysian Marvel. The Shock Absorber in 9th. Henry's great grandson in 10th. The Windscreen in 11th position. Jesse Marshall rounding the final corner now for 12th in the C7 Corvette. Phil Whiteman, or PJ as we like to call him, in 13th position. Simon Levitt in the Jaguar comes in for a top 15. Don't worry about that. That is what I said, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to be in it to win it. And he's come in at a top 15. The Screaming Insect in BL, 15th. Logan Ray in 16th. And Kim Weckett has found himself back in the server. Excuse me. All bar dead last. But he has come down 2 laps out and will gather some points there in 17th position to round out your grid and your race positions for the event. What a race. What a marvel. 99 minutes and 50 seconds, if you don't mind, for Daniel Cicluna. 17-second gap between himself and Harley Marshall in 2nd. Gallant drive there from Harley. Matt Double in 3rd position. Only 2.6 seconds behind him, really, is Dravelmere in 4th. Brandon Pierce to round out your top 5. Brian's cousin in 6th. Lachlan Grant, AK Racing representative. The Malaysian Marvel in 8th. The Shock Absorber in 9th. Ryan Ford in 10th. The Windscreen, the Policeman, or the Senior Sergeant, or the Junior Sergeant. PJ, Levitt, Angry Insect, Logan Ray, Kim Weckett, Finn Sinai, Nudge and Mad Macca. Round out your grid in 20th position here for the Bathurst. 12 hours in 90 minutes. Bloody hell, ladies and gentlemen. What an event. What a race win. What a drive there by Daniel Cicluna. In recap, I just can't believe that someone can have that car so gripped up for the whole race and be that consistent to be 15 seconds out in front by the time it's all over. Is a drive and a half. Hats off to Daniel Cicluna. Hats off to Harley Marshall. Hats off to Two Dogs in Matt Double as well. That was a fantastic event and a pleasure to be in the commentary box for here at Sensational TV tonight. Riding solo, if you don't mind the Jason Derulo complex pun there. But geez, you got to catch your breath sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. And that's exactly what I need to do. If you've loved the stream, loved the event here between AK Racing and GT Club, we will be having some more of these events. So keep your eyes peeled for the tags on YouTube. Put a notification up on your screen for Sensational TV as well, so you know whenever we're streaming. We've got V8 Supercars next weekend, if you don't mind, coming from New Zealand at Taupo Raceway. And on Wednesday, actually, coming up, is the new Wednesday Cup schedule here at Sensational TV for AK Racing. So it's going to be a full-on week and a half coming up at Taupo. Myself and Chris Munro will be commentating in the same room with a webcam streaming to see our reactions and how we call the race. So tune in for that to see our ugly heads produced all over the world to YouTube land as well. But if you do love the stream that we've put on tonight, and you do love AK Racing and GT Club, please search them guys up on Google. You'll find them on their Discord. Join the leagues. They are both absolutely fantastic places to be. Genuine guys, genuine girls as well. No riff-raff, sharing setups. You do whatever you want there on both of those Discords. Both run different car leagues and whatever tickles your fancy. Come through and enjoy the time here, whether you're in Australia or in Germany. We've got some German compatriots coming through, and they are racing with us on stream as well. But nonetheless, I've been Zach O'Reilly. My absent co-commentator Chris Munro is still Chris Munro. Hopefully he hasn't changed his name, but here from Sensational TV tonight. It's been a pleasure having you with me. I've enjoyed every single moment and loving the event tonight, and love this Mount Panorama circuit from basically dawn to dusk here at Bathurst. Has been a pleasure to be a part of with everyone here. So thank you to all our competitors. Thank you to all our viewers at home and at the pub or wherever you're watching here on Sensational TV. We absolutely love you. So thank you very much. That is me signing off here. I've been Zach O'Reilly, and I always will be. Good night, and until the next time, keep it flat out.